Greetings. This is my first video. My name is Ankensen, Amun, and I'm going to share my journey to spirituality with you all. When I first came into everything, I was in my early 20s. First, let me backtrack. I became aware of certain things in my early 20s, but I've always had certain gifts from a child. I remember it hit me when I was about, I say, 5 years old, and my mom had taken sick. I had dreamt that she was gonna be falling off of a chair. And this is something that's personal because it has hurt me to my core for so long. And it's when I realized that even then there were certain gifts I had, but I wasn't aware. I was scared, I was sad because what I dreamt came true. That same morning, I woke up and I was trying to explain to my parents, I dreamt that my mom would be falling off of a chair. And it was so hard because that no one was paying me any mind. It was like, oh, it's just a dream. Don't be upset. But enough, like I say, maybe 30 minutes later, or who knows, because time to a child can be very tricky, but that same day, it happened. She fell off the chair. She had to go to the hospital, and that traumatized me. I never really wanted to have dreams. I never really wanted to experience that experience again. But as a child, there was always little things that would happen. Hi, Mama, you're up. There was always little things that would happen that would, like, it's something I could not hide or not go through, but because I kept fighting it wasn't always natural. As I got older, I couldn't fight it. I would still have certain dreams, but they became a bit more complicated, and I would have to be able to really like understand them. Sometimes I wouldn't get it until a couple days later. So fast track to when I became maybe 22, 23, I went through so much tumultuous situations, whether in relationship with my children, with my two first children's father, and another, I won't even call him mate, but another experience where it really traumatized me to the point where I have actually had no choice but to look at myself. And this is when I became more aware of certain I'll call them powers, certain things that I had, like my thoughts. And it's hard because to be able to not think negative, it's not always easy. So I had to learn to accept even those negative thoughts, not accept them to the point where they're true, but don't beat myself up for thinking negative. Just take a look at where it's coming from. Okay, I don't think that I'm gonna be able to have my own business. Where's that coming from? It's my fear of failure. It's my fear of all those type of things, all those type of thoughts. I had to kind of let them be. And okay, well, I'm afraid of this. That doesn't mean that this is really gonna happen. That's my fear. But I've tried, and maybe I haven't succeeded in certain areas, but now I know the things that I did that didn't work, and now I can come at it in a different way. And these are the things that I'm working on. These are the things that help. I feel like when you become more spiritual, you make so many little mistakes because you'll judge others thinking that that's a form of spirituality. Well, I'm wearing my hair natural. This person's not. This person's eating this type of food. I'm not. But it has nothing to do with those things. And I'll dive into those things more in future videos. But those things have nothing to do with spirituality. Spirituality is becoming in tune with yourself and the universe, and really becoming in tune, period. Because when you're in tune, those type of thoughts, it sheds. You start to realize those things don't really make sense. They don't serve you. How are you going to be connected if you're always finding reasons to, whereas, oh, I'm better, or this person's not doing this? I've learned from, there's another YouTuber that I was watching, and I'll try to put in the link below, or I'll try to give him a shout out, because I do watch him. I'm starting to watch him a little bit. He was saying that, where you're at spiritually, when you see certain things in another person's behavior, it's a reflection of where you used to be, and you're only growing when you see these things and you don't want to be a part of it no more. But it's not fair to put the expectation on someone else to say, well, you're wrong, or look at what you're doing, you could do this way. That's not our job. And as an empath, that's something else that I've been learning. I want to help, but to help to the point where I'm letting myself go, where I'm suffering, where I'm beating myself up, is not fair to myself. Everybody has the right to do their own healing work, to go into that. It's not my job to go and start doing everyone's healing work for them. It's my job to heal myself. Therefore, I'm a beacon for everyone else who's seeing me. They'll see, well, look, why is she glowing like this? What's going on with her? And when they get to know me more, they will see, whether they see it or not, they will start to want, if you want the same things, you're gonna inquire, well, what did you do? And that's where I can come in and say, well, I've had to go through certain trials and tribulations. I've had to learn how to work on my affirmations. I've had to learn how to stop judging myself, because in reality, I don't judge other people so much as I judge myself. I always make excuses for their behavior. Well, maybe it's because they went through this, that's why they're acting this way. Well, maybe, I'll let that go. But I'll never let go certain things with myself. I'll be so hard on myself. If say, well, this is a reality. I used to be pretty much near vegan, and then I backtracked and started eating meat again. And I've been so hard on myself, because I know that I know the benefits of when I was eating more consciously, as to where I backtrack and started eating back to eating meat. But my lesson that I'm learning is, be gentle with myself. I'm still human, and I'm going to make mistakes. It's what I do and how I recover from them. Now I'm taking time to just balance out my diet. And if I really don't want to eat, say I don't want to eat meat, I'm just going to slowly cut it off. But typically I do enjoy chicken, I do enjoy certain meat, and it's been something that since I've been a child that I never saw was wrong. So now in my adulthood, now that I know, well, I'm going to benefit more off of the food that's grown from the earth, food that's powered by the sun. Now it's going to take a little bit for me to say, okay, let go of these other foods. But that doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. That doesn't mean that I'm unconscious. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. You're unconscious, because there's people who eat relatively good and they still do negative things. So it doesn't, those thoughts, we have to stop clinging on. Don't cling to anything. That's one thing that I learned. Don't cling to anything. When you learn something, it might change. Something you learn today, it might take on a different form and transform a few months later. Something will add on to it, and it won't be as you just learned it. So you have to be comfortable with change. That's something that I've learned, because I'm Aquarius, so I tend to, it's not that I don't want to change, but I tend to get comfortable sometimes with certain ideas and certain spaces in my life, and then it gets ripped out from underneath me, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? So to get back to the point, you really do have to ground yourself when you're becoming more in tune spiritually, and don't take everything so personal. You're learning, you're growing. certain things happen, and you have to learn to be resilient, and this is what makes most people stand the test of time. You have to learn to love yourself, and this is the journey. You have to learn to love yourself. I've been hurt so many times because I've been wanting to be with my mate. I want things to work, but I had to realize, okay, I want it to work, but I do not want to lose myself. I do not want for me to just be with somebody and I'm not living in my purpose. I'm with someone, but they're making fun of me because I'm reading I'm watching my readings per se. I'm into tarot. They're saying I'm evil. They're saying all these kind of things because I can't help what I'm being drawn to. I don't think it's evil. I find the connections in everything. And so to be with someone, and it may seem small to someone else because they would say, well, you're going to break up with someone over that. No, I'm going to break up with someone over the fact that I cannot be myself. Even if we have children together, you should be able to love me for me. You may not understand certain things, but at the same time, I can't stop my growth. And that's what I've come to. That's what I realized, that as long as I'm taking care of myself, my ancestors, my guides, they're going to make sure that I'm all right. They're going to make sure that I'm properly matched at the end of the day with someone who's my same vibration, someone who's going to love me for me. And it's not to say that my mate, because right now this is what's a big change in my life, is my youngest two children's father. I'll be honest. We still talk, but we're not currently together because a big shift has happened in my life where I kept starting to see the same numbers. I kept starting to get little signs, and it's not that he's not spiritual, but he doesn't see certain things he sees as it's disagreeable. So we were clashing when it came to that. I was starting to get into wanting to read cards, and I started to make my own cards, and he would say, well, this is wickedness. This is not something that God wants you to do. And it became hard for me because I didn't see it that way. I don't see it as it's evil. I'm being drawn to it for a reason, and if I keep on being afraid and if I keep on following what someone else is telling me, I'm not going to be able to walk in my purpose. And I encourage everybody who may be watching me right now, it may be hard because it's something you're starting to get used to trust yourself over others, but you can still do it. I still would be afraid if I was to see one of my spirit guides or an angel in front of me. But what I do is I slowly say what I might not be afraid of. Okay, I'm not afraid of if I hear a thought coming in. I'm not afraid if I see a sign right now. I'm not afraid if quickly I see a flash of their face. But if you were to appear in front of me, I will be afraid. So I let them know that. I would be afraid if I seen you right now standing in front of me. I'm not ready for that. But I'm comfortable and I'm okay with you around me. I need you around me. I need the protection. I need the guidance. I need those things. I need the encouragement. I appreciate the encouragement. And each day, because at first I knew that I was always protected, and I'll tell this story in another video, but I knew it through certain things that happened. But it's only coming on now where I'm saying, okay, well, why not speak to them? Why not invite them to help? Because they cannot help you. They'll be with you, but they cannot fully intervene without you giving the go ahead and saying, listen, I need your help. Michael, help me. Raphael, help me. They cannot come in and do those things unless you allow them to do so. And I'm learning that, and I'm becoming more comfortable with that. And it's a lot, but at the same time I'm overwhelmed with happiness, with joy. I have a lot to be thankful for, even though I'm not with who I would want to be at the moment. I understand, I understand that it's for my greatest good. I would not be able to be explaining certain things like how I'm going to be right now to everyone if I didn't go through some of the hurdles that I've been through. And it's crazy. It's really crazy because it took me for a loop all the time. Like, I'd say, well, why me? Like, I'm such a good person. And I'm starting to tear up thinking about it. But why me? I'm such a good person. I don't deserve this. And it's not to say that I deserved what was happening, but I was not seeing certain things. I didn't have no boundaries set, so everybody can come and do what they basically wanted to because I would make excuses for them. Oh, well, I'm their friend. I need to understand them more. But what about me? What about me? I don't deserve understanding. I don't deserve respect. They can just come and throw their problems on me at a whim, and I wouldn't be able to do the same thing for them because why? They had boundaries set for themselves. If they weren't up to hearing certain things, they would it would become brutally known. They wouldn't pay attention to what I'm saying. So these are the things that I had to learn to pay attention to and to start it's only now I'm starting to create boundaries. If I don't want to do something, I don't care whose feelings it hurts, because it shouldn't hurt your feelings if I need time to myself. It shouldn't hurt your feelings because the type of person I am, I will get back to you. I will pay attention to you. I'm not an evil person, but if my energy is not in the right place, you're not going to get the best of me anyway. So I'm starting to learn those things, and it makes me feel a lot better. I'm still not where I would like to be, but I'm going to get there. I know what I want to do. And even if I trip a couple of times before getting there, I'm going to trip, because I cannot settle for doing something that's not going to make me happy. It's not going to help. As much as I want to help others, me settling doesn't help anybody, doesn't even help myself. So me actually taking the steps to get into doing what I want to do will help. And one of the things that I do want to do is I make jewelry using semi-precious stones, and one of my favorite stones to work with is amethyst, but I also like emerald. I've recently bought emerald, and I'm gonna start to work with that more. But I like the emerald stone. I like the amethyst stone. The amethyst stone I worked with for years. I remember even making a piece for one of my, I call her my goddaughter, but we haven't did a ceremony to do for her to be my goddaughter, but she's my goddaughter. I made a stone for her because she was having trouble sleeping, and I said, oh my goodness, like she kept talking in her sleep and unsettled. So I woke her up that evening and I said, come sit on the couch. It was really late. I believe it was like midnight, maybe going on 1, but she couldn't sleep. So I woke her up because she wasn't sleeping properly anyway. And I put on a show for her. And while I put on a show for her, I sat with her and I made the amethyst necklace for her. And at the time, I didn't realize what I was working with it, but I didn't know about smudging. But naturally, I smudged the necklace for her because I had frankincense and myrrh burning, and I just let the necklace naturally get the smoke from the incense, and then I put it on her. And her mom and her mom's mate had told me, well, she's not having trouble sleeping anymore since you gave her this stone. And that was one of the incidents where I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I enjoy this, because I would sit down and I would read certain attributes to the stones that I was using, and I liked it. I would make jewelry for a lot of people. They would request how they like, what stone they want or what design they wanted. And for a while it was getting there, but through my fear, because I had took a course to actually make it legit, and that was what scared me, was the marketing, was all these things, but it wasn't stuff I couldn't do. It just became real to me, and then I think that's where I stepped back and got in my own way. And I still make jewelry till this day, but not as frequently as I used to. And lately I've been saying, well, why did you stop? You're good at what you do, and you can be better. So stop being scared and start doing it. And that's what I'm going to do. On this channel, I'm going to share many different experiences, and eventually we'll be getting into the different stones that I use. I'll show you the pieces that I make, and I'll make it available for purchase as I go along. Today was just a bit of an introductory of me and some of my experiences. It's kind of all over the place, but I didn't want to put too much structure, because knowing how I am, I would keep saying, oh, this is not good. Start again. This is not good. And I just wanted to get something out there so that people can get to know who's Ankensen Amun. Well, you know, Ankensen Amun is my spiritual name. My birth given name is Sharisa, but Ankensen Amun is my spiritual name, and it's a name that, it's not that if you call me Sharisa I won't answer, but Ankensen Amun has been where I've done a lot. I've accepted a lot coming into taking on that name. I've accepted the truth of myself more, and I've merged my, like, because Sharisa is my name my parents gave me. It's that won't change. I'm not gonna just drop that, but I mean, like, I've merged these, we're the same being, so I've just merged all the experiences that Sharisa's went through with Ankensen Amun, and it's made me a whole person. And these are the things that I would like to express more on my channel. Things that I've done to ground myself a lot, especially when I feel like I'm being thrown off, is I do a lot of affirmations now, because I don't like questioning myself or doubting myself. So to boost my vibration and to make sure that I'm not downing myself, I do small meditations where, like, you can hear, if you can hear in the background, I play meditation music. I just let myself be still, because I'm a parent of 4, and having 4 children can be very busy. Sometimes you'll forget to do certain things for yourself, and for me, I need that moment. So I do my affirmations. I just think about, I take like maybe sometimes just 5 minutes to daydream. It's funny, but I like to do it. I daydream of, like, what I want to happen. I daydream of, if, say, I want to meet someone, I daydream a little bit of how that would happen. And it hasn't happened yet, but I mean, like, I picture it. Okay, we're gonna bump into each other here. This is gonna happen. I'm gonna say this. And I take the time to do that, but I don't fall into, like, a fantasy, because it hasn't happened yet. But I'm just working my magic a little bit. Like, I'm just, like, trying to tune into it, trying to hone it. So for me, I see that it would happen if I actually gave in and fully trusted that it would, but I still have some questions, so it hasn't. And that's what I see, that these are things that I'm picking up on. I'm working on those things, though, because I want it to happen. So the energy of wanting it to happen is there, but trusting that it will is coming into play now as I'm speaking about it right now. And this is the same with my jewelry business. I see it happening. I know it's gonna happen because I've done it before. I'm good at it, you know, and now it's just honing it, just doing it, just getting stuff done, and not questioning so much. Oh, will I fail? Will this happen? I'm starting to let go of those things. I'm starting to release my anxiety over, will I be good at this? Will I be good at that? And this is the stuff that I do to ground myself. My biggest lesson for me is to learn is learning self-love, because I've been hurt so much by others. that it's forcing me to rely on myself for comfort. It's forcing me to rely on trusting myself more than I've ever done before. And so what if people don't believe, oh, I've had a dream and they think it's silly? So what if people don't believe that I'm spiritual? That's up to them. But at the end of the day, what do I think about myself? What do I feel about myself? What am I going to continue to do? I'm going to continue to love myself. I'm going to continue to do the things that make me happy, because I can't sit around here and wait for others to see what I'm trying to show them. Once again, I'm learning that's not my job. My job is to be myself without any apologies. As long as I know I'm not hurting anybody, I'm not causing no injury or no pain to anybody, I'm fine. And if I ever learn that what something I'm doing is harming someone, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to purposely ever harm anybody, especially being the person that I know I am. It would hurt me to know I'm hurting someone else. So if I learn that, okay, my actions is causing pain to someone, I'm gonna sit down and figure out, okay, what can I do? Because I'm not gonna stop being me. But if there's something that I could do differently, then I will do it. Like if it takes a phone call to someone, maybe they're saying, well, you're ignoring me. I can be someone that likes to be a lot to myself. So I would have to acknowledge, okay, you're still human. You still need interaction. Okay, you need to give this person a call. Let them know that you care. Stop being so in your head. These are the things that, once again, come back to grounding and come back to just balance. But it's still a learning process. So I'm going to understand, like, okay, thank you for letting me know. I'll do better. And that's it. No more will I beat down on myself, because like I said, I don't beat down on other people. You did this wrong. Okay, you were just going through this certain situation. You were hurt as a child. Okay, like you deserve a second chance. Well, okay, you deserve a second chance, and so do I. I deserve a chance. And these are the things that I've had to learn. Self-love, self-care. It's not selfish. Maybe you have to make sure you don't overdo things, like overspend. But if I feel like I want my nails done, if I feel like I want to do my hair, like right now I need to freshen up my roots. Whether I go out and get someone to do it for me or I do it for myself, that's a part of self-care. I take a nice bubble bath, paint my toes. There's nothing wrong with those things. These things are all good to care for myself. And to be honest, the children love seeing me happy. When they see me glow, oh, you look beautiful, Mom, my 4-year-old will tell me. So when you do these things, it just shines outwardly. And before you know it, you're walking around and people will be like, oh, you're beautiful. But they'll be seeing the outer beauty, but I've grown to acknowledge they're talking about the inner beauty as well, because I'm not an ugly woman. So sometimes when I get that extra, like, oh, you're so beautiful, I'm realizing, oh, my inner it's starting to feel more at peace, so it's shining more outwardly. And I start to say, okay, well, thank you, Most High, thank you, ancestors, thank you, guides, I start right away, I start to give thanks, because I realize, like, okay, yes, there's stuff that I'm doing, but that you're guiding me and you're with me and you're helping me release certain things so that I can be free like this, so I can feel this way and others can see it and they smile. So it's doing something too, like, oh, they see me walking, sometimes they'll just smile and I will be like, okay, smile too. So that's it for now. I'm open to suggestions in the comments area, like what would you like to to hear me discuss more. I may be more open to speak about certain things and then take my time in other areas, but would you like me to speak about my experience eating more pescatarian, vegan, vegetarian? Like, what would you like to hear about? Just give like little suggestions. I'm still gonna come out with videos, but I will also look at the suggestions in the comment area and to choose a few of them and start doing videos on that. Okay, well, I send out a lot of love, peace, harmony. I wish you all the best, and let's get to know each other more. My name is Ankensen, Amun. Peace.